What if I told you that the universe has very specific ways of testing people born under the sign of Gemini? Have you ever noticed how certain situations appear repeatedly in your life, as if they were lessons that need to be learned? If you are a Gemini or know someone under this sign, this video will reveal 12 clear signs that the cosmos is placing special challenges in your path. These tests are not punishments, but opportunities for growth and spiritual evolution. The universe understands the dual nature of Gemini and knows exactly which buttons to press to awaken this sign's best potential. Over the next few minutes, you will discover patterns you may never have noticed before, but which are happening in your life right now. Prepare to understand why certain things happen to Geminis so intensely, and what to do when you recognize these signs. Stay until the end because the last sign can completely change your perspective on the challenges you are facing. Tip 1. Blocked communication at the most important moments. The first sign that the universe is testing a Gemini appears when communication, which is this sign's natural gift, becomes blocked just when it needs to flow most. Imagine being in an important meeting and suddenly the words just won't come, or trying to explain something fundamental to someone you love and realizing you're being completely misunderstood. This is no coincidence. It's the cosmos challenging you to find new ways to express yourself. Geminis are known for their ease with words, their ability to converse on any topic, and their ability to connect people through communication. When this natural ease is blocked, the universe is telling you it's time to go beyond words. Perhaps it's time to learn to communicate through actions, gestures, or even silence. This test forces Geminis to develop patience, something that doesn't come naturally to this sign, which wants everything fast and dynamic. When you notice yourself repeatedly having difficulty expressing yourself, stop and observe. What is the universe trying to teach you? Often the lesson is about listening more and talking less. Other times, it's about finding the essence of the message and conveying it more simply and directly. This communication block can also indicate that you need to be more authentic in your words, leaving aside the Gemini tendency to say what people want to hear. Tip 2. Decisions that change moment to moment. The second sign manifests itself when decisions become impossible to make, even for simple, everyday situations. A Gemini being tested by the universe will find themselves constantly changing their mind, creating a paralysis they've never experienced before. Today they want one thing, tomorrow they want something completely different. This isn't just the familiar Gemini indecision taken to the extreme. It's a cosmic provocation for you to learn to trust your intuition. The universe is showing you that logic and mental analysis, so characteristic of this sign, aren't always enough. Sometimes you need to feel the answer in your heart. When you find yourself in an endless cycle of pros and cons, weighing each option thousands of times without getting anywhere, know that you are being challenged to develop a new way of making decisions. This test forces Gemini to slow down, something very difficult for a sign that lives at the speed of mental light. The lesson here is about commitment and responsibility for your own choices. The universe wants you to stop trying to please everyone and make decisions based on what truly makes sense for your evolution. During these periods of extreme indecision, practice meditation and mental silence. Allow the answers to come from within, not just from the accelerated mind that has always characterized your way of acting. Tip 3. Relationships that mirror your duality. The third sign appears when relationships begin to intensely reflect Gemini's dual nature. Suddenly, you find yourself attracting people who are complete opposites, or even the same person shows completely contradictory sides. This is the universe holding a giant mirror up to you, so you can recognize and integrate your own polarities. Geminis naturally have many facets. They can be sociable and introverted, serious and playful, deep and superficial, all in the same week or even the same day. When being tested, the universe intensifies this experience through others. You may find yourself in situations where you have to choose between friends who hate each other, or experience a romance with someone who sometimes completes you, sometimes challenges you beyond your limits. The lesson here is not about choosing a side, but about accepting that complexity is part of human nature. The universe is teaching you not to judge others' contradictions because you are also contradictory. This test also serves to show that you don't have to be the same person for everyone. It's possible to be authentic while maintaining different aspects of your personality for different situations and relationships. When you notice that you're attracting very intense and contradictory people or relationship situations, understand that it's time to work on accepting and integrating opposites within yourself. Now, before we continue with more telltale signs, if this content resonates with you, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any revelations about the spiritual world. Comment below where you're watching. I'd love to know what city you're from, and if you've had any of the experiences I'm sharing. Tip 4. Projects that start and don't finish. The fourth sign manifests itself through an avalanche of projects that begin with enthusiasm, but mysteriously lose momentum before completion. This is a specific cosmic test for Geminis because it directly attacks this sign's natural tendency to be interested in 1,000 things at once. When the universe wants to teach an important lesson, it multiplies this characteristic until it becomes impossible to ignore. You start painting a picture on Monday, decide to learn a new language on Tuesday, start a business on Wednesday, and consider taking a cooking class on Thursday. All these ideas come with incredible energy, and you feel like you've finally found your true passion, but soon, your motivation evaporates. This repetitive pattern is the universe showing you that excessive distraction prevents any concrete achievement. The lesson here is about focus, persistence, and the importance of finishing what you start. The cosmos is teaching you that one well-executed idea is worth more than 100 ideas just started. During this testing period, observe which projects truly make your heart flutter, even after the initial excitement wears off. These are the ones that deserve your full dedication. The universe may also be indicating that it's time to learn to work with stricter deadlines and commitments, developing the discipline that doesn't come naturally to Gemini. When you recognize this pattern, force yourself to finish at least one project before starting another. Tip 5. Contradictory information coming from all sides. The fifth sign appears when you find yourself bombarded with completely contradictory information about important matters in your life. One person tells you one thing, another says the exact opposite. One expert affirms something, another categorically denies it. This informational chaos is no coincidence. It's the universe testing your capacity for discernment and your relationship with truth. Geminis love information. They are natural collectors of data, facts, opinions, and knowledge. When tested, the cosmos overrides this tendency until you are forced to develop wisdom rather than simply accumulate information. The lesson here is to learn to trust your own intuition and experience, rather than always seeking external validation. The universe wants you to develop your own internal filtering system, your own moral and intellectual compass. During these confusing times, Geminis often feel paralyzed, unsure of who or what to believe. The answer lies not in finding the perfect source of information, but in developing the ability to synthesize different points of view and extract your own truth. This test also teaches about the relativity of human truths and how each person sees the world through their own lenses. When you notice you're receiving too much contradictory information, stop searching externally and start consulting your inner wisdom. Tip 6. Sudden mood swings with no apparent explanation. The sixth sign manifests itself through intense and seemingly unexplained emotional swings. One moment you're on top of the world, full of energy and optimism. The next, a deep sadness takes over without anything specific having happened. This is the universe working directly with Gemini's changeable nature, intensifying internal changes to teach about emotional stability. Geminis naturally experience mood swings because their accelerated mind processes a lot of information and stimuli simultaneously. When being tested, these changes become more dramatic and frequent. The cosmos is showing how you react to internal transformations and whether you have the tools to navigate them healthily. The lesson here is about developing emotional intelligence and finding your inner center, regardless of the storms that may arise in your mind. The universe wants you to learn that you don't need to be held hostage by mood swings, that there's a part of you that remains stable even when everything seems chaotic. During these periods of emotional instability, practice breathing techniques, meditation, or any activity that connects you with the present moment. The test also teaches you about self-compassion, about accepting that feeling intense emotions is part of the human experience and not something to be fought, just understood and integrated. Tip 7. Situations that require choosing between two passions. The seventh sign appears when the universe places you in situations where you must choose between two things you love equally. It could be between two dream jobs that came along simultaneously, two special people who entered your life at the same time, or two mutually exclusive growth opportunities. This is a specific test for the dual nature of Gemini, which possesses the ability to love and dedicate itself to multiple things simultaneously. The cosmos is challenging you to develop more refined internal criteria for making difficult decisions. It's not a choice between something good and something bad, but between two wonderful things, which makes the decision even more complex. The lesson here is about priorities, values, and understanding that choosing one thing doesn't necessarily mean rejecting the other forever. The universe is teaching you that life is made of cycles, and that perhaps it's the moment for a specific experience, while other opportunities may return in due time. During this type of test, it's important to connect with your deepest values and ask yourself which choice is most aligned with your spiritual growth at the present moment. It's also an opportunity to practice detachment, accepting that we can't always have everything we want exactly when we want it. This challenge develops maturity and wisdom in Gemini. Tip 8. People from the past resurfacing unexpectedly. The eighth sign manifests itself when people from your past begin to reappear in your life in surprising and intense ways. Ex-lovers call out of the blue. Childhood friends find you on social media. Old coworkers cross your path repeatedly. This isn't a coincidence. It's the universe bringing you unfinished business so you can resolve it and evolve. Geminis have a knack for networking and creating connections, but they also tend to leave things unresolved when they lose interest or when something new and more stimulating comes along. The cosmos is bringing these people back so you can learn about closing cycles and resolving emotional issues. Each person who returns brings with them a specific lesson or an opportunity for healing that you hadn't noticed before. The lesson here is about emotional responsibility and how our actions affect others, even when we're not aware of it. The universe is also revealing repetitive patterns in your relational behavior that need to be observed and possibly modified. During these reunions, pay attention to the emotions that arise and the themes that recur. Often, these people return to show you how much you've grown, or to offer forgiveness and mutual understanding. It's an opportunity to practice gratitude for shared experiences, and to close chapters of your story in a more conscious and loving way. Tip 9. Difficulty maintaining simple routines. The ninth sign appears when even the most basic routines begin to seem impossible to maintain. Things you've always done automatically, like eating breakfast at the same time or following your usual route to work, suddenly become burdensome and monotonous. This is the universe challenging Gemini's free-spirited and variable nature, but also teaching you the importance of certain structures in life. Geminis naturally reject rigid routines because they need variety and novelty to feel alive. When tested, the cosmos intensifies this resistance until you're forced to find a balance between freedom and responsibility. The lesson here is to learn that some routines are necessary anchors that allow us the energy to be creative and spontaneous in other areas of life. The universe is showing you that it's possible to have structure without losing your freedom, that it's possible to create flexible routines that serve your well-being, rather than limit it. During this period of resistance to routines, try creating more fluid structures that allow room for variation and surprises. Perhaps it's time to understand that discipline isn't a prison, but rather a tool that can expand your possibilities rather than reduce them. The test also teaches you about commitment to yourself and the importance of taking care of your physical body through consistent healthy habits. Tip 10. Extremely vivid and symbolic dreams. The 10th sign manifests itself through a dramatic intensification of dream activity. Suddenly, you begin having extraordinarily vivid dreams, filled with complex symbols and messages that seem important, but are difficult to decipher. These are no ordinary dreams. They are nighttime experiences so intense that you wake up feeling as if you've lived another reality. This is the universe communicating directly with the Gemini subconscious, using the language of symbols to convey information that the conscious mind isn't yet ready to fully comprehend. Geminis live largely in the conscious mind, constantly analyzing, questioning, and processing information. When being tested, the cosmos forces an opening to deeper dimensions of the psyche. The lesson here is about developing the ability to understand nonverbal languages and trusting the wisdom that comes from more subtle levels of consciousness. The universe is expanding your perception beyond the physical and mental world, inviting you to explore spiritual and intuitive aspects of existence. During this period of intense dreams, keep a notebook by your bed and write down everything you can remember as soon as you wake up. Look for patterns, recurring symbols, and emotions that appear repeatedly. Often, these dream messages contain important guidance for decisions you need to make in waking life. This test also develops the ability to navigate between different states of consciousness more easily and naturally. Tip 11. Attraction to esoteric and mystical knowledge. The 11th sign arises when you find yourself inexplicably drawn to subjects that never sparked your interest before. Astrology, numerology, crystals, meditation, Eastern philosophies, or spiritual practices in general. This attraction isn't superficial or fleeting like many Gemini interests, but is accompanied by a deep hunger for understanding and direct experience. This is the universe expanding the horizons of Gemini knowledge, showing that there are forms of wisdom that go beyond logic and reason. Geminis are naturally curious and information gatherers, but generally prefer practical and verifiable knowledge. When tested, the cosmos presents dimensions of knowledge that require other forms of validation: personal experience, intuition, and faith. The lesson here is to develop different types of intelligence, and to accept that not everything in life can be explained or understood solely through the rational mind. The universe is inviting you to explore mysteries that can tremendously enrich your worldview and your life experience. During this period of spiritual opening, be discerning but also receptive. Study seriously, practice with dedication, but maintain discernment. This interest in mystical subjects can be the beginning of a profound spiritual journey that will balance Gemini's mental nature with the more subtle dimensions of existence. The test also develops intellectual humility, teaching that there is always more to learn and discover. Tip 12. Constant sense of being watched by the universe. The 12th and final sign is perhaps the most subtle, but also the most powerful. You develop a persistent feeling that you are being watched, cared for, and guided by higher powers. Small synchronicities begin to occur frequently. You think of someone and they call you, you need information and they appear unexpectedly, you make a decision, and signs of confirmation appear everywhere. This is not paranoia or imagination. It is the awakening of consciousness to the interconnectedness of all things. This is the universe showing Gemini that there is a greater intelligence orchestrating life's events. Geminis have great confidence in their own mental capacity and ability to solve problems through logic. When you're being tested in this way, the cosmos reveals that you are part of a much larger web of consciousness and purpose. The lesson here is to develop faith, trust in the flow of life, and recognize that you are not alone on your journey. The universe is teaching you to collaborate with greater forces, rather than trying to control everything through personal will. During this period of heightened sensitivity to synchronicity, pay attention to the signs that appear repeatedly. Develop gratitude for the small magic of everyday life, and learn to trust cosmic timing. This final test prepares Gemini for a more fluid life, where there is room for both planning and divine spontaneity, for both action and surrender. Now you know the 12 most important signs that the universe is testing a Gemini. Each of these tests is a precious opportunity for growth and spiritual evolution. Remember that cosmic challenges don't come to punish us, but to strengthen us and help us develop aspects of our personality that are still dormant. If you've recognized some or several of these signs in your life, know that you're on the right path. The universe only tests those who have the potential to grow and shine even brighter. Use this knowledge as a map to navigate challenges with greater awareness and wisdom. Each test overcome is not only a personal victory, but also a service to the collective evolution of humanity. The world needs Geminis who are awakened, balanced, and aware of their purpose. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these signs most resonates with your current experience? Share in the comments what test you're facing now, and how this video may have helped you better understand your journey. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, do so now so you don't miss out on content that can transform your spiritual life. Turn on notifications and share this knowledge with other Geminis who may be experiencing the same challenges. Together, we can create a community of beings who are more conscious and connected to the wisdom of the universe.